You feel tired after lunch, gain weight without eating more, forget things more often. But your doctor says everything looks normal. That's not aging, that's mild metabolic dysfunction. And it's the first whisper before disease shouts. Title: Mild Metabolic Disorders and Their Long-Term Effects. Introduction: The quiet drift away from health. In the hustle of daily life, a mild metabolic disorder can slip under the radar. Unlike major diagnoses such as diabetes or thyroid disease, mild metabolic issues often begin subtly. A bit more fatigue here, a little weight gain there, maybe some brain fog or occasional indigestion. And yet, these quiet disruptions in the body's biochemical balance can pave the way to far more serious outcomes if left unaddressed. Mild metabolic disorders are not rare. In fact, they may affect more than 30% of adults over 40, according to population studies. These conditions often go unnoticed or are dismissed as just aging, but science now confirms that even small deviations in metabolic function can silently influence cardiovascular health, cognitive aging, hormonal balance, and more. This article explores what mild metabolic disorders are, how they manifest, and the long-term effects they can have even when symptoms seem benign. Number 1. What are mild metabolic disorders? Metabolism is the sum of all biochemical reactions in the body, particularly those involved in converting food into energy and managing the use of nutrients. Mild metabolic disorders refer to subtle abnormalities in these processes that don't yet meet the criteria for a full-blown disease, but indicate that something is off. These may include slight insulin resistance, subclinical hypothyroidism, low-grade systemic inflammation, altered cortisol rhythms, mild mitochondrial dysfunction. They may not produce overt symptoms, but they often show up in early warning signs: fatigue after meals, poor exercise recovery, disrupted sleep, weight changes despite consistent eating habits, or mild depressive episodes. Number 2. The slow burn: how mild disorders become chronic disease. One of the most insidious aspects of mild metabolic dysfunction is that it operates quietly, gradually eroding resilience over time. Unlike a sudden health event, these conditions create a slow metabolic drag that eventually lowers the body's threshold for adaptation. For example, mild insulin resistance can lead to pancreatic stress and, over time, type 2 diabetes. Chronic low-grade inflammation lays the groundwork for atherosclerosis and neurodegeneration. Cortisol dysregulation slowly chips away at immune resilience and brain health. Many people find themselves shocked by a later diagnosis, not realizing that the groundwork had been laid years earlier through unmanaged metabolic patterns. Number 3. The mitochondrial link: energy at the core. Mitochondria are the energy-producing structures inside our cells, and even mild dysfunction in mitochondrial activity can have a profound effect. When mitochondria are compromised, fatigue becomes persistent, cognitive sharpness declines, muscles recover slower, and inflammation rises. Mild mitochondrial dysfunction has been implicated in early stages of conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, and age-related cognitive decline. The cells are not dying, they're just underpowered, leading to subtle but cumulative functional loss. Number 4. Hormones and homeostasis: the endocrine ripple. Mild metabolic disorders often disrupt hormonal balance. Consider these examples. Slightly elevated insulin can interfere with testosterone and estrogen production. Cortisol dysregulation can affect thyroid hormones. Subclinical thyroid disorders affect mood, metabolism, and menstrual regularity. Hormones are not isolated actors. They operate in networks. When one hormone is slightly off, it often drags others with it, creating a cascade of secondary symptoms like anxiety, poor libido, or unrefreshing sleep. Number 5. The cognitive toll. Brain fog is a metabolic signal. One of the earliest signs of mild metabolic dysfunction is cognitive change, commonly referred to as brain fog. This is not simply a psychological issue, but often a metabolic one. Inadequate glucose regulation, low-grade inflammation, and impaired mitochondrial function all reduce the brain's energy supply. Long-term effects can include reduced neuroplasticity, poor memory consolidation, slower reaction times, and increased vulnerability to neurodegenerative disorders. This connection underscores why metabolic health should be considered part of brain health. Number 6. Gut health and the metabolic interface. The gut is both a sensor and a regulator of metabolic function. Mild dysbiosis, an imbalance in gut bacteria, is now recognized as a driver of metabolic dysfunction. Consequences include poor nutrient absorption, disrupted signaling of hunger and fullness, increased gut permeability or leaky gut, contributing to inflammation. Emerging research shows that a compromised gut barrier and microbiome can shift metabolism toward fat storage, increase food cravings, and impair insulin sensitivity. Number 7. Cardiovascular drift, when the numbers are almost off. One of the most misleading things about mild metabolic disorders is how often lab numbers appear almost normal. Examples: fasting glucose of 99 milligrams per deciliter, just under the diabetes threshold. Mildly elevated triglycerides, 150 to 199 milligrams per deciliter. HDL just below optimal range. Slightly raised hsCRP, inflammatory marker. These early shifts are strong predictors of future cardiovascular events. Without intervention, they often progress to hypertension, atherosclerosis, or full-blown metabolic syndrome. Number 8. Lifestyle factors that worsen mild metabolic dysfunction. It doesn't take a disease to cause damage, just chronic neglect of foundational habits. Sleep deprivation reduces insulin sensitivity and leptin. Sedentary behavior reduces mitochondrial biogenesis. High sugar diets promote inflammation and insulin resistance. Chronic stress alters cortisol rhythms and immune balance. These lifestyle choices may not trigger immediate symptoms, but over time they degrade metabolic resilience. Number 9. Preventative strategies, building metabolic resilience. The good news is mild metabolic disorders are incredibly responsive to early interventions. Number 1. Nutrient-dense diets. Focus on whole foods rich in magnesium, B vitamins, omega-3s, and phytonutrients. Number 2. Meal timing. Time-restricted eating or circadian-aligned meals help regulate insulin and ghrelin. Number 3. Movement. Daily walking, strength training, and flexibility routines increase mitochondrial efficiency. Number 4. Sleep hygiene. 7 to 9 hours of consistent quality sleep supports all hormone pathways. Number 5. Stress modulation. Meditation, time in nature, social connection, and hobbies lower cortisol. Number 6. Gut microbiome support. Prebiotics, probiotics, and fiber-rich foods nourish beneficial bacteria. Number 7. Smart supplementation. Targeted nutrients such as CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid, and adaptogens may support mitochondrial and endocrine health. Number 8. Metabolic tracking. Periodic checks of fasting glucose, HbA1c, triglycerides, and hsCRP can help catch issues early. Each of these habits may seem small, but together create a cumulative metabolic resilience that dramatically reduces future health risks. Conclusion: early signals matter. Mild metabolic disorders are not harmless. They are the early whispers of deeper imbalance, a gentle alarm that something within the system needs attention. Ignoring these signals allows dysfunction to entrench itself, but responding with awareness, lifestyle alignment, and consistency can reverse the trajectory. Metabolic
You're
health
not
isn't
weak.
about
You're
perfection.
hormonally
It's about
hijacked.
pattern
That late
recognition
night
and
craving, that
long-term
bottomless
stewardship.
hunger, it's
Your
not your
future
fault.
self will
It's
thank you for
ghrelin,
listening early,
leptin,
acting
insulin,
gently,
and yes,
and
even
choosing
cortisol
wisely.
pulling the strings. If you want real control over your appetite, you need to understand the hormones that control you. Hunger, satiety hormones, and eating habits, the hidden biochemistry behind every bite. Introduction. Are you truly hungry or just hormonally triggered? Have you ever eaten a full meal only to feel hungry again within the hour? Or found yourself reaching for snacks in the evening not because you're hungry, but because something inside feels off? What if I told you that your eating habits are not just about willpower or discipline, but about hormones? Yes, those invisible messengers are quietly steering your appetite, cravings, and satiety behind the scenes like an orchestra conductor you never see. Understanding hunger satiety hormones is like decoding the internal GPS of your metabolism. Once you understand how they work, you don't just fight cravings, you navigate them. 1. Ghrelin, the hunger alarm you can't snooze. Ghrelin is the hormone that screams, "Feed me!" Produced mainly in the stomach and pancreas, ghrelin levels rise before meals, prompting the body to seek food. Here's what ghrelin does. Triggers stomach contractions, growling, sends hunger signals to the brain, increases dopamine activity, reward seeking. But ghrelin doesn't just rise because you haven't eaten. It responds to habitual meal timing. If you always eat lunch at noon, ghrelin starts rising at 11:45 like clockwork. Mind takeaway. Consistent meal times help regulate ghrelin naturally. Irregular eating patterns make ghrelin unpredictable and cravings harder to control. 2. Leptin, the fullness switch that can malfunction. Leptin is the hormone that says, "All right, we're good now, stop eating." It's produced by fat cells and acts as the body's long-term energy gauge. When leptin works well, it reduces appetite, increases energy expenditure, supports metabolic balance. But here's the kicker. In people who are overweight or have been yo-yo dieting, the body may become leptin resistant. That means leptin is still being produced, but the brain doesn't respond to it. The body stays hungry despite adequate energy reserves. Mind takeaway. Leptin sensitivity improves with eating real, unprocessed food, reducing sugar and refined carbs, getting quality sleep, moderate exercise. 3. Insulin, the energy manager with a dark side. Insulin is best known for regulating blood sugar, but it also plays a vital role in hunger and satiety. After eating, insulin helps transport glucose into cells, signals to the brain that energy is available, and contributes to a feeling of fullness. But if insulin is constantly triggered, for example from snacking or high-sugar foods, the body can become insulin resistant. Now glucose can't enter the cells efficiently. The brain still thinks you're starving. Appetite increases. Mind takeaway. Improve insulin sensitivity with fewer refined carbs, time between meals, avoid constant grazing, strength training, and daily movement. 4. Cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels overeating. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. It helps in emergencies, but chronic elevation wreaks havoc. High cortisol increases ghrelin, hunger, suppresses leptin, fullness, triggers cravings for sugar, salt, and fat, promotes abdominal fat storage. In other words, stress isn't just mental, it rewires your appetite hormones. Emotional eating? Often it's just cortisol begging for comfort. Mind takeaway. Combat cortisol with daily stress relief rituals, walks, journaling, breathing, less screen time before bed, consistent sleep patterns, laughter, connection, and lighthearted activities. 5. The hormonal tug-of-war behind eating habits. Your eating decisions are the result of an ongoing battle or collaboration between these hormones. Let's recap. Ghrelin initiates hunger. Leptin shuts off hunger. Insulin manages energy use. Cortisol hijacks everything when stressed. When they're in balance, eating feels natural and satisfying. When they're off, especially due to poor sleep, chronic stress, or overprocessed food, your internal cues break down. What feels like a lack of willpower is often just biochemistry gone sideways. Mind takeaway. Stop blaming yourself. Start understanding your biology and working with it, not against it. 6. Why willpower alone doesn't work. We're often told to just eat less or control your cravings, but here's the truth. You can't out-discipline broken hormone signals. If ghrelin is elevated and leptin is ignored, the brain is screaming, hungry, no matter how full your stomach is. If insulin is high and cortisol is rising, your energy tanks and comfort food becomes irresistible. Mind takeaway. Stop blaming yourself. Start understanding your biology and working with it, not against it. 7. 6 daily habits to balance hunger-satiety hormones. Here's where knowledge becomes action. These simple daily habits help rebalance your appetite hormones and support long-term health. Check. 1. Eat at consistent times. Train your ghrelin rhythm equals fewer unexpected hunger spikes. Check sign 2. Focus on whole foods. Fiber, healthy fats, and protein enhance leptin and insulin balance. Check sign 3. Sleep 7 to 8 hours nightly. Poor sleep equals higher ghrelin, lower leptin, worse cravings. Check sign 4. Move your body. Even a brisk 20-minute walk improves insulin and stress resilience. Check sign 5. Reduce processed sugars. Minimize insulin spikes equals better appetite control. Check sign 6. Practice pre-meal mindfulness. Pause before you eat. Ask, am I physically hungry or emotionally uncomfortable? 8. Bonus. Signs your hunger hormones are out of sync. Sometimes it's not obvious that your hormones are misfiring. Here are some hidden signs. Always hungry even after meals. Mid-afternoon or late-night cravings. Frequent emotional eating. Fatigue despite eating enough. Stubborn belly fat. Irritability when hungry. Hangry. If these feel familiar, it's not your fault. It's a signal, one that can be corrected with care and awareness. Conclusion. Cravings are clues, not character flaws. Your body is not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to communicate through hormones, through hunger, through patterns that make sense once you decode them. Stop fighting your appetite like it's the enemy. Start understanding it as your body's built-in intelligence. Because the real power comes not from resisting food, but from working in harmony with your biology. And once your hormones are aligned, healthy eating no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes your new normal. Hunger, satiety hormones, and eating habits, the hidden biochemistry behind every bite, extended. 9. The gut-brain axis, where hormones and habits collide. Modern science now confirms what ancient traditions long suspected. Your gut and brain are in constant conversation. This dialogue is mediated by the gut-brain axis, a complex network involving the vagus nerve, microbiota, and neurotransmitters. Inside your gut live trillions